So what exactly do I look for when hiring UX designers? What makes someone stand out more than others? Well, stick around because you're about to find out. This is a question I get asked regularly. UX design has become quite a popular career in tech over the years, and I don't blame them. I love it. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tiffany, and I'm a UX designer who recently got promoted to becoming a manager. It's been about 3 months since I've been in my role and over 2 years since I've been part of the hiring process, so I know a thing or two about hiring designers. The first thing I look for is relevant experience. Now, this can kind of change depending on what level of expertise you are. You could be a junior designer, a mid-level, a senior designer, but a lot of the times I look for how long someone's been working in UX for, or what type of projects they've worked on. Have they worked on any UX projects if they're beginners? What schools did they go to? Did they get any official training, or did they get a certificate from a boot camp? That's pretty important to have some kind of background knowledge. Another big thing is, do they have relevant experience in the industry that I'm working in? A lot of the times, if you are working in healthcare and you might not have a background in UX, but you've worked in that industry and you're applying for a place that is in healthcare, that could be used to your advantage just because you have that similar kind of idea, that similar industry in common, and it can help you with your job hunting. Number 2 is having an eye for design. Now, not all UX design jobs require you to have UI design background. There can be companies that have separate UX design jobs, separate UI design jobs, separate UX researcher jobs. But I've noticed that a lot of companies are looking for full stack designers that are pretty generic. They kind of do the entire product and own it from start to finish. So I think having an eye for design is definitely important, and that's something that I look for, especially when I'm looking at someone's portfolio for the first time. A portfolio is kind of like your first impression, and you can tell right away if someone has a good eye for design by seeing how nice the portfolio is, how organized it is, how clean it is, how everything's laid out, and I think that can definitely help you out a little bit. So make sure you work hard on that portfolio because, trust me, it's very important. Number 3, another very extremely important thing that I look for is someone who's a good communicator. UX designers are collaborating with a lot of different people. You're working with different stakeholders, product managers, engineers, other designers, and a lot of the times you have to be able to present your ideas and your design workflows. And so being able to communicate your designs clearly and concisely is really important because sometimes you need to sell your designs. If you're an amazing designer, incredible, and you can't communicate well, or you don't get along with other designers, then that will really, really hurt you. And it'll be really hard for you to get jobs in the future. So make sure you also focus on those soft skills of yours. Number 4, having an organized workflow process. Most of the time, I have to admit, when I look at portfolios and all I see is a beautiful, flushed out end final product, then it's almost an immediate no for me. It shows that the designers didn't really go through the entire process, and I'm not really sure what part of the designs they really did. You have to be able to explain your beginning, middle, and end stages of the project. I'd like to know, what were the beginning requirements? What design challenges did you face? What feedback did you get from your customers? What different designs did you play with? Which iterations did you go through? All that is super important when you're doing UX design because you are constantly iterating during your job. And so a lot of designers like me like to see the process that you're going through. So it's kind of important to be able to have a good organized workflow process that people can follow and be able to be good at storytelling. Number 5, asking thoughtful questions. During the interview process, there could be challenges that the interviewers give you. And a lot of the times when I give a designer or a candidate a problem, I like to see what types of questions they ask me back. Usually I can tell if someone's a beginner designer versus an intermediate or a senior designer by the types of questions that they ask and making sure if they're really thinking about the whole entire problem and they have all of the information before they start designing. Ask the interviewers for more details if you need more clarity on something. Most of the time, we're happy to answer your questions. I also think it gives you some kind of sense of what it's like to work with the person, making it more of a two-way street. So make sure you try to talk out loud so the interviewers know what you're thinking and your thought process. The last one is being a good cultural fit. When you're hiring someone, you want to make sure you really like to work with that person and that they mesh really well with the team. So typically things that I look for that are good cultural fits for my company is someone that's open-minded, someone who's hardworking, someone who's genuine, someone who can take back constructive criticism, and someone that's a great team player. We'll be working with each other a lot, so I definitely want someone who has similar interests to me and someone that I would really enjoy being around. I mean, it's 8 hours a day pretty much. And so it's really important to be able to collaborate with your team members and just enjoy each other's company. It makes work more fun that way as well. Overall, I know that no one's perfect, so I don't expect to find anyone perfect when I'm hiring someone. But I like to find designers that are a good mix and a really good balance of all of those things that I just mentioned. Each company and each team is different, so I'm just speaking for what I'm looking for and what my company typically looks for when we're looking for someone to join our team. Anyways, I hope these tips were helpful, and if you like this video, then please give it a like. I know it can be discouraging sometimes, but just remember, it just takes one yes to get your foot in the door. Now go spread your wings and apply to a bunch of companies, just like I did when I started. I hope that you get your job. Happy job hunting. Bye. Mwah.